Drive. First, Bob, thank you for clarification as far as the request yesterday for additional information on the food and beverage. I appreciate that. As we near the budget season, I'm asking the board to take and consider live streaming the budget presentation, and perhaps doing that ahead of time so residents can see it, form their questions and so forth, and then perhaps have a town hall meeting where those questions could be answered, as opposed to maybe situations where a lot of information is prepared and people don't have a lot of time to digest what's being said.
Okay, Tom, let me stop you right there. Bruce, would you make sure that Tom understands what the process is for the budget presentations?
Yeah, what we're doing sometime in November, I don't know the exact date yet, I'll make a budget presentation too, and all membership is allowed to attend. It's actually recorded, both the presentation and the slide program that I put together, put out on the website. It's out there for over 30 days, and I have my email on there and ask for any comments or questions, and I respond to each one each year. So people have a lot of adequate time to do that in the 30 days between the presentation and then when the board votes. And what we do is I review all those feedback from the feedback I do get with the board prior to making any final decisions on the budget.
Okay. Bruce, thank you, and I appreciate it. I was just looking for additional ways for people to take and get it and have live dialogue with the board to answer the questions. That was the reason for my request. And then I just asked the board to kind of clarify some of the things that were mentioned in Tom Riegel's letter to the editor regarding the exterior, the lights policy. He mentions reference to some things that seem to be in place already, but contrary to what was put in the magnified, explaining this issue about the lights. And specifically talking about the fact that, as I understood the policy, it was going to be case by case, reviewed based on safety and so forth, whether fixtures were added, replaced, that type of thing. And it seems, based on his information in this article, some confusion that that's already a given and shared with BEC. So, thank you.
I'd like to address that. You might also like to know that we made suggestions to Mr. Riegel that he has the option, with approval of ACC, to put a lighted lamp post to also light the outside of his home. All of those are within his property, and he has that right, and he was made aware of that. Unfortunately, he didn't mention that in his letter.
Okay, are there any other comments from the floor? Are there comments from the board?
Yes, I wanted to make a few comments. I think most of you, if not all of you, saw the Magnify article about Druid Hills and what's going on or not going on there right now. Since that Magnify went out, we've received roughly around 22 comments, questions, that type of thing. 20 of those 22 have been responded to. We've gotten back to the person with individual emails within 24 hours of them asking the question so that they would get a good answer. And probably there's a couple things in there that bear talking a little bit about even at this particular meeting. The first one is there have been no decisions made about what's going to happen with the Druid Hills Clubhouse. We don't know whether it's going to be remodeled. We don't know if it's going to be a new building. Those decisions have not been made. Rather, what we're doing is we're taking the time to figure out what the requirements are of that facility so they meet the needs of the community. And our intention is that we've had one meeting of the team. The next meeting will be in a couple weeks. And what we're going to do is start setting out schedules, at least anyway for the first, what we're going to call a town hall, where people can come and ask questions and get the information. There's a lot of rumor running around, but I can honestly tell you none of those decisions have been made. The second piece is, as the committee has already talked about, is the whole idea here is to be participatory with the community. It does us no good to put any kind of facility up or change a facility if it doesn't meet the needs and doesn't have the support of the community. So we're going to be careful about going through and getting requirements and making sure that the community is brought along through the process, and everyone will have opportunities to interact and be able to tell us their thoughts, their ideas. Now, I can honestly tell you, already from what I've seen, there's a lot of those, and they're in conflict. So that will not be an easy process for us to sort through, but we're going to sort through it together. And this probably is going to take a little bit longer. We've decided it's going to be a multi-year project because, quite honestly, we're going to have phases of this, and we're not going to try to do everything at once. And that's it's going to be because of what the requirements are going to be and how they're going to have to be laid out. But there has been no decisions about any of the facilities over there, and you know what I really would like to make sure is that you now are ambassadors to help kill the rumor mill. And in that article, the Magnify article, there's ways to get in touch with me. My email address is in there. And I encourage you, if you do have questions, you do have comments, to get them to us. Even if you decide that you're not going to participate fully in opportunities, we still want to hear what you have to say. My promise to you is as quickly as I can, I will get the answers back to you. But we want to make sure that we have the reviews of those answers so everyone's in concert with the committee that, yeah, we're all in agreement that that's what it should look like. But I wanted to make sure that people were aware. Just so you know, the people that are on the Advanced Planning Committee are the Director of Golf, the Chairperson of the Golf Committee, the General Manager, the Treasurer, and myself. Our intention is to expand that to other working teams to take a look at various aspects of the Druid Hills project. And that's where the real detailed requirements are going to come through that interaction. So this is just the start of it, and it's going to go on for a while because we really want to get community involvement and get and hear not only what the community wants, but probably more importantly, what they'll support. Okay?
Thank you, Greg. Are there any other comments from members of the board? Then I'd like to make just a closing statement here. With regards to transparency and the board activities, the board of directors complies with all the disclosure activities that are required of a 501c4 organization in the state of Tennessee. The board continues to provide the membership with notice of intended actions, with a membership comment period, and prior to taking action on any changes in policy that impact the membership. The board votes in public on policy changes, financial matters, and agreements that obligate the community club. It is important to note that while you may have an opinion that differs from that of the board regarding a procedure, that difference of opinion does not imply that the board is any less transparent nor engaged in nefarious activity. It merely means that there is a difference of opinion. And so we want to make sure that that statement is part of the record. And with that statement, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. The motion to adjourn has passed. We stand adjourned.